In your speech, you mention many conflicts that are unfolding worldwide, like the Russia Ukraine war, conflicts in Sudan, as well as Haiti. But you pose this thought to the graduating class. You might ask yourselves why this particular conflict in the Middle East has so captured our attention. Do you think that is because young people in the United States, like you're saying, think that there is a very clear oppressor and the oppressed?
I think that this is one that is attached to a lot of the identities of these students to a much greater degree. It turns out, I mean, Russia, I mentioned Russia, Ukraine at the top because while these students were at Columbia, over their time, while these demonstrations were going on, the war that has led to the most hardship and death overwhelmingly is not Gaza. It's Russia, Ukraine, and not just because they're white people in Ukraine, right? But actually because the food, the fertilizer, the energy that has been disrupted has meant that the poorest people in the world, yes, brown and black people all over the world have suffered a lot more because they're the ones. It's not just like their Happy Meal is twice as much. They can't get food, right? And so we're putting tens of millions of people into starvation because of what's happening in Russia, Ukraine. So if you really care about the whole world, you should be spending a lot more time on that. And I wasn't saying that because I'm saying, oh, you're wrong for caring about Israel-Palestine, but this is a public affairs school. Like they need to get it right, and they need to recognize that it's much more complicated. But again, in the United States, the Israel-Palestine issue is one that can be much more easily used for political gain, much more easily monetized for clicks. One that I think a lot of people, in other words, not only do young people find themselves more affiliated with one side or the other, personally connected to, but also bad actors politically and the algorithms that exaggerate them have more reason to get involved on the back of what's happening around Israel and Gaza than they do in a lot of these other issues. This is an issue that will matter for the presidential election. And that has nothing to do with peace between Israel and the Palestinians, nothing to do with the two-state solution, but a lot to do in angering people. And so I think a lot of these students needed to hear that they're being used, right, by actors that do not have their best interests at heart at all.
This is a top issue in the 2024 election. Do you think that these students, these voters, a lot of them could be first-time voters in a presidential election, do you think they are feeling disenfranchised over this?
I think that there is a danger that Biden will lose some votes. Not that they'll necessarily go to Trump, and Trump, certainly if you're pro-Palestinian, Trump's record is not supporting you. I mean, he's the guy that moved the embassy to Jerusalem. He's the guy that recognized the Golan Heights as Israeli as opposed to contested. I mean, his history is showing that the Palestinians don't matter. But I think that the decision of Biden voters to not vote or decision of Biden voters to vote for a third party and effectively throw their vote away is absolutely higher in the small number of swing states that will determine this 2024 election. So yes, Biden is in trouble on this issue. There's no question in my mind, and he's in trouble with young voters.